Before we begin, this is the story of Lina, a young African woman who left home to chase green pastures and found herself fighting a silent enemy that many in the diaspora know too well: loneliness, pressure, expectations, and the battle to stay strong while living far from home. This is her journey. Life has a way of calling us forward, sometimes with hope, sometimes with illusion, but always with a promise of something new. And for Lina, that promise began on a warm morning in Abuja. She stood in the bustling airport, holding tightly to her mother's hand. Her mother's eyes carried both pride and fear, the kind of eyes only a parent can have when watching their child step toward a future they themselves cannot enter. Lina smiled, even though her heart felt heavy, even though leaving home meant leaving pieces of herself behind. People around her were rushing, checking in, hugging, crying, laughing. But in that moment, the world seemed slow. Her mother touched her cheek and whispered, "My daughter, remember who you are, and remember that God goes with you." Lina nodded, holding back tears. She felt her family's hopes packed tightly in her suitcase, as if their dreams were traveling with her. On the plane, Lina sat by the window. The engines roared beneath her feet, and slowly the ground pulled away. Homes became dots, roads became lines. Nigeria became a memory beneath the clouds. She pressed her palm against the window, afraid of the unknown, yet hopeful for what waited on the other side. When Lina landed abroad, the airport lights hit her face, cold and bright. Her friend Choma ran toward her, laughing, hugging her tight. "Welcome, you made it," she said. And for a moment, Lina believed everything would be exactly as people said: smooth, easy, full of opportunity. Choma drove her through the glowing city, tall buildings rising around them, promising a life that sparkled from a distance. But that first night, in a small quiet room, Lina felt the first crack in the illusion. No family voices, no familiar smells, just silence, and a loneliness she couldn't explain. Still, she told everyone back home, "I'm fine," even when her heart whispered, "I'm not." The next morning, Lina dressed elegantly for her job center interview, wearing her African print blazer full of pride and expectation. She walked in tall, confident, believing that her new life was just beginning. She shook hands with the manager, smiling brightly. She felt chosen. She felt ready. But reality had different plans. Instead of the office role she imagined, she found herself scrubbing floors in hotel hallways, pushing heavy cleaning carts, stacking endless towels, working shifts that bent her back and bruised her spirit. Every day was harder than the last. She stood for hours. She ate in minutes. She slept in exhaustion. She buried her frustration because she needed the job, desperately. And just when she thought things couldn't get heavier, the calls from home began. "Lina, can you send money? The house needs cement. Your cousin has been sent home from school. You're abroad. Life is easy there." She didn't want to disappoint anyone, so she sent what little she earned. She skipped meals. She cut heating. She lived in silence with a smile she no longer recognized. One night, after a long shift, Lina collapsed on a hotel bed she was supposed to clean. Her body gave up before her mind did. A colleague walked in and gasped, "Lina, are you okay?" She begged through tears, "Please, don't report me. Please." Her colleague sat beside her, rubbed her back, and for the first time, Lina let herself cry. Later that evening, she opened up to Choma at home. Over warm cups of tea, Lina finally spoke the truth she had been hiding. Her voice trembled. I feel like I'm failing. I feel alone. I don't know if I made the right decision. Choma held her, whispering, You're not alone, and you're not failing. But even love sometimes can't silence loneliness. 6 months passed. Lina moved to a new town, hoping to escape the shadows she'd been living in. But loneliness followed her, into her new apartment, into her dreams, into her thoughts. One evening, she sat on the cold floor of her room, knees tucked into her chest, crying softly as neon lights from the city flickered through the window. She wondered if she had made a mistake, if she had ruined her life, if she had misunderstood God's plan. Then, her phone rang. Her mother. The moment Lina heard her mother's voice, her heart cracked open. My daughter, listen to me, her mother said. You are stronger than this moment. Storms don't last forever. I am proud of you. Don't lose yourself, Lina. Lina cried like a child, but something lit inside her. A small fire she thought she had lost. Choma soon took her to meet a small African community group. There were women and men laughing, sharing food, sharing stories, offering warmth Lina hadn't felt in months. They welcomed her like family. They prayed with her. They encouraged her. They helped her breathe again. Slowly, bit by bit, Lina healed. She began attending a community church, a place where hope felt alive, where the pastor spoke about restoration, resilience, and rising again. Her confidence returned. Her smile returned. Her joy returned. And then, life rewarded her. Her managers noticed her discipline, her kindness, her commitment. Lina was promoted, moving from housekeeping to a managerial position in the hotel. She stood in her new office wearing professional clothes, a woman transformed by pain, courage, and grace. She moved to a beautiful apartment close to work, bought her own car, started shopping freely, and walked confidently through modern malls with Choma, finally enjoying the life she had once only dreamed of. Her story was no longer a struggle. It had become a testimony. One evening, Lina stood in her office, holding a warm cup of coffee. She looked out at the city as the sun slowly dipped behind the buildings, painting the sky gold. She thought of the girl who once cried on the cold apartment floor, the girl who arrived with fear, the girl who almost gave up. And with a soft smile, Lina whispered to her past self, You made it. Look how far you've come. As the sun set, Lina felt peace. Not the peace that comes from a perfect life, but the peace that comes from surviving every storm and rising stronger each time. Moral of the story: life abroad is not what people think. Behind every smiling picture can be a soul fighting battles in silence. Loneliness lives even in busy cities. Strong people can break quietly, and healing begins the moment truth is spoken. Lina became a woman who chose peace over pressure, self-love over guilt, and healing over pretending. Because in the end, a life that looks good means nothing if the heart behind it is hurting. Check on those abroad. Their strength is deeper than you know. Thank you for watching this story. If you are living abroad and fighting silently, may this remind you, you are not alone, and your story is still being written. More diaspora stories coming soon, right here on Folk Life Tales.